Faces of Power, Hour of Truth. Lalu's sons in poll fray. Tejashwi's gamble for glory. Two deputy chief ministers lead saffron charge. 13 cabinet ministers in the fray. Maithili Thakur steps into politics. Khesari Lal's bid to reclaim Lalu's legacy. 243 seats, infinite ambitions. Patna holds its breath. State of war, Bihar.
Good evening, viewers. You're watching State of War Bihar. I'm Samrat Choudhary, and over the course of the next 45 minutes, we are going to micro-slice some data for you, which is exclusive on the big ticket fights, the big VIPs in the fray, and also those 12 seats that could really matter, Maria, when it comes down to a neck, and if it does come down to a neck-and-neck fight, because there are 12 seats where the Mahagathbandhan is actually fighting itself.
And that becomes important because it's a state where, remember, Nitish Kumar, because he's a member of a legislative assembly, he's not contesting. His challenger is in the fray. He's contesting from Raghopur, which is the family bastion. Then you have Samrat Choudhary contesting from his father's constituency. Again, Vijay Sinha becomes an important player for Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar. Tej Pratap has added that extra flavor to this election by being unpredictable. Will it be some kind
of YouTubers?
Yes,
did you
very
meet
favorite.
Maria's actually, I have to say, she got the maximum interviews of Tejashwi. If anyone got it, it was Maria.
So, but it's interesting how the family battle has also played out in this election. You know, Tej Pratap, Tejashwi are not really in talking terms, but they certainly hope that their mother will be that fulcrum who will bring them together at some stage, perhaps after the election. So the stage is set for what is the most unpredictable political theatre that you can think of, that is my home state of Bihar.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly cut across once again to our election intelligence dashboard. Like I said, viewers, if there is anywhere else you need to be, because this is just, you know, what we have today. Tomorrow, as and when trends start coming in, where constituencies, seats, regions, players, all of that, you're going to get right here as we slice that data and load it in our election intelligence dashboard. So take a look in terms of the VIPs who are in the fray. Where it comes down, let's go to all phases there. And the VIPs, the big ticket players in the fray. And as Maria just pointed out, right on top, Tejashwi Yadav. Nitish Kumar is not contesting, but Tejashwi Yadav is, and his fate lies in Raghopur. Many had contemplated that Tejashwi could very well be fighting on 2 seats. That didn't happen because that would have been terrible optics and messaging. So he's gone all in where Raghopur is concerned. Someone who was spoken so much of was Samrat Choudhary, Deputy Chief Minister of the state of Bihar. For 15 years, he hasn't fought a state election. He's a sitting MLC, never fought an election from Tarapur, but that's his family constituency. He's someone who's come under heavy attack, especially from Prashant Kishore, where his educational qualifications are concerned. So a lot hangs in balance where Samrat Choudhary is there. I actually did travel to Munger, Tarapur, and it's a tough contest. Not that it's easy for Tejashwi as well, but tough contest where Samrat Choudhary is concerned. Vijay Kumar Sinha, Lakhisarai, another Deputy Chief Minister of the BJP. All eyes will be on that seat, because if you remember, This was where violence was witnessed. Vijay Kumar Sinha had complained that his car was attacked by miscreants who he said came in from the RJD. They threw cow dung at him. So a bit of a fracas there. Maithili Thakur, Ali Nagar, Muzaffarpur is where Maithili Thakur is testing her fate. A big, a folk artist on
Ali
a
Nagar
BJP
in
ticket.
Darbhanga, Preeti.
Darbhanga, yes,
Yes.
you're right. Maithili Thakur, Ali Nagar, Darbhanga, testing her fate. Most important, and I thought important in the sense of optics, who's actually done more sabhas than even Tejashwi.
Yes,
across
Kesari Lal
is
Yadav.
Kesari Lal Yadav. He's standing from Chhapra. Right now, Chhapra is with the BJP, and he's hoping to wrest back Chhapra for the RJD, which is the legacy of Lalu Yadav. So, and it's interesting because not very far from where we are standing in Noida, Kesari Lal Yadav used to actually sell litti chokha till he became this huge Bhojpuri sensation, and now on an RJD ticket to reclaim Chhapra for the party. Lots of other big ticket players like you see on your television screen. Of course, Tej Pratap Yadav, who started his own political outfit, contesting their Mahua from Mahua. Again, it's a seat which has been contested very, very tightly, and a tight contest there. But Javed, to bring you in and maybe reflect on Chhapra, because this is practically where Lalu Yadav, cut his teeth, built his bones, earned his spurs, and today lies with the BJP. He would be hoping that Kesari Lal Yadav would be able to wrest that back from the BJP.
Yeah, so it's an audacious gamble. They've tried to get this the star, the so-called star of Bhojpuri music, to come and try and take a shot at that seat. This used to be once Lalu's stronghold, which now Mr.
Rajiv
Rajiv
Pratap
Pratap Rudy has rested. And Rajiv Pratap Rudy is a 7-time MP. Yesterday, when I asked him, I was, so if somebody like him or Ravi Shankar Prasad, it's not as if the BJP is spoiled for riches in Bihar.
The other one, Maria, because, you've interviewed Tejashwi Yadav twice, Raghopur. There was, earlier on, there was a sense that maybe he'll fight from not one but two constituencies, but he went all in with one because it would have been terrible optics otherwise.
And also that he had to campaign across the state. He is the star campaigner and perhaps the only vote catcher for the entire Mahagathbandhan. So come in on this, Rajdeep. The thing was that could Tejashwi have contested from 2 seats? That did not happen. He concentrated on Raghopur. This is a seat which his father has won in the past, represented by his mother as well in the past. So it goes with quite literally the definition of a family bastion. When we talk about Tejashwi and his campaign, 2020, great degree of energy, very, very fresh campaign. Now in 2025, what do you think Tejashwi misses in this election?
Look, first of all, Tejashwi Yadav is a pretty energetic campaigner. I saw his rally in Raghopur. It was delayed by about 4 hours because of the rain, and yet there were thousands of people there to listen to him. Raghopur is a family fortress just outside Patna, and the road to Raghopur is not an easy one. But I also recall when Rabri Devi was chief minister, there was only a pontoon bridge, and it was even more difficult to reach Raghopur, even though it's, just 30-40 kilometers away from Patna. It's easier now, but there are still lots of potholes. But let's be clear, Tejashwi Yadav, energetic campaigner that he is, has not been able to effect, I believe, a moral and ideological shift in the RJD, and he doesn't convey the softness that an Akhilesh Yadav does. I saw an interesting article today which suggested that Akhilesh Yadav and Dimple Yadav as a couple have been able to soften some of the rough edges of the Samajwadi Party and thereby become more attractive to a wider audience. Tejashwi has not been able to do that, partly because he's never become chief minister. He's only been deputy chief minister. If he was chief minister, he could then perhaps actually move out of Lalu Prasad's shadow. 2020, he had a clear communication. 10 lakh jobs, 10 lakh naukriya. Wherever he went, he spoke of that. Sometimes in politics, you need to have a single message because that then registers right down the line. This time, I think there were mixed messages. For about a fortnight, Tejashwi was accompanying Rahul Gandhi almost as a pillion rider on SIR. Then for 40 days there was silence. Then he comes up with his ideas, whether they are one job per family. By then, the BJP has already brought in its 10,000 rupees for women.
Right.
So then you believe that Tejashwi is reacting. I think in 2020, he set the agenda with making Rozgar the centerpiece. In 2025, he's not been able to do that as successfully. But I will say this, he's a very, very energetic campaigner. There were days he did 15 to 17 rallies.
That's
The
right.
problem is
Towards the
RJD
end.
has no
Towards
other
the end.
leaders. Who are
Rajdeep-
the other leaders of the RJD?
Yes, but Rajdeep, don't you think that comparison between Akhilesh, I mean, it is obviously surfacing, but Akhilesh Yadav has also been a chief minister. Tejashwi hasn't got a chance. He hasn't won. Akhilesh, unlike Tejashwi, doesn't have that baggage, which Tejashwi is finding difficult to shed. Because with that baggage of 15 years of his, parents' regime, there was that challenge also, that Yadav constituency which comes with that, but then he's not able to expand. So do you think that that is where the challenge is?
Rajdeep, Akhilesh in 2014.
Let me make a distinction there.
Can I come in? It's
yeah,
not entirely
please go
correct
ahead.
to say that, Akhilesh in 2014 fashioned that victory for the Samajwadi Party. He went on a statewide yatra. And he's worked very hard to try. And he also came with baggages. Mulayam Singh Yadav's regime was known for this Yadavization, or for giving people with dubious records a lot of representation when it came to ticket distribution, etc. He made a conscious decision to break away. He's made a conscious decision to bring other castes into the fold, which, in my view, Tejashwi has failed to do that.
Okay. Just stay with us, Javed. Rajdeep, what we'll also quickly move.
Let me give you
Make your point, sir.
Let me give you an example. 2012, Akhilesh did the cycle yatra, not 2014, 2012. But there was importantly
2012,
one
stand
seat
corrected, yeah.
where I think Akhilesh sent a message. You will recall DP Yadav was the boss man of Sambhal. And I remember Akhilesh Yadav saying, I will not give DP Yadav a ticket. It caused consternation within a large section of the Samajwadi Party, but Akhilesh held firm. And I think that those are the kind of decisions sometimes that you have to take. That you have to say, yes, I am the beneficiary of my father's inheritance, but I am going to take certain tough decisions. And some of those decisions he took in 2012, and then over those 5 years in power, consciously reached out to non-Yadav OBCs, organizing Sammelan, celebrating various leaders of other non-Yadav OBC groups. All of that helped him. He still was not able to defeat the BJP in 2017 and 2022 because the BJP also is a very, very powerful force in Uttar Pradesh. I believe Tejashwi in that sense doesn't face the same domineering BJP in Bihar. But you have to widen your base today and be seen to be doing so. One thing to his credit, he has dropped a lot of sitting MLAs. Just as friendly fights are the weakness of the
45.
Mahagathbandhan, dropping so many sitting MLAs gives them half a chance.
You're right there, and contrary to that, the BJP usually is known to, look at how they completely changed their cabinet in Gujarat and dropped the number of MLAs when they went to vote. This time around, only dropped 19 MLAs, and that could really cost them in regions like Champaran, which they had swept the last time around. But Rajdeep, you spoke about friendly fights. I just want to tell our viewers, just stay tuned. In 5 minutes, we're going to get exclusive data coming in from Vote Vibe, where we've sliced their data and got what the projection is on those 12 seats where the Mahagathbandhan is on friendly fights. Amitabh Tiwari will also be joining us on that. We're going to give that projection on those 12 friendly fight seats. But Sajjan, to bring you back in very quickly before we go to that, we've spoken about Tejashwi, but one person also that was spoken a lot, Mare and Rajdeep, this time around was Samrat Choudhary. Samrat Choudhary was hoping this election would make him into that person who would carry the BJP forth, because this is an election where the stalwart Sajjan who dominated the Bihar political landscape, it's the sunset election for them. It's also an election where the next line, which will carry forward Bihar's politics, will be bloodied in. And Samrat Choudhary was one person who thought could carry on the BJP's pitch in Bihar. That seemingly, in terms of perception, in terms of the attack from Prashant Kishore on his education qualifications, on certain criminal charges, is dented.
Not only after Prashant Kishore's attack on Samrat Choudhary, if you see, he was projected precisely on the basis of calculation of caste and numbers, because BJP, Bihar is overwhelmingly OBC dominated, OBC plus EBC dominated state. And therefore, if you have to counter RJD dominated by Yadavs, then you need to project a non-Yadav OBC who is next populous caste, that is Kushwaha's around 5 to 6% as per the old census, right? Now, therefore, Samrat Choudhary projection by BJP was an attempt to claim the OBC space, which the party is still struggling in the state of Bihar compared to the neighboring state of, say, UP, Jharkhand, and many other states. This is one. Two, if you see, Kushwahas by nature, unlike Yadavs, unlike Kurmis, unlike Paswans, have never voted across Bihar for one leader or for one party. They have been quarantined in different regions. And therefore, Samrat Choudhary since beginning had a tough task. 2024 was the time wherein Samrat Choudhary was a complete failure, because if caste is the calculus, you need to fetch your caste votes to the party you are representing if you want to claim the leadership. Now, 5-6 MP seats that BJP and NDA lost in Bhojpur, Shahabad and Aurangabad region was overwhelmingly Kushwaha significant. Kushwaha's presence was significant, and it was therein because of Kushwaha shifting to Mahagathbandhan that NDA lost. So he failed to deliver his own caste constituency to the fold of NDA, and then came Prashant Kishore. So whatever may have been the calculation by the BJP national leadership, certainly at this juncture, he stands discredited, not only in terms of personal qualification, educational qualification, but also in terms of his sheer colossal inability to transfer his community's vote to the fold of BJP and NDA. Still open to Kushwaha.
It would be very difficult, Sajjan, from here on for a Samrat Choudhary to get, be a player of contention, of leading the BJP's charge. That's quite improbable. But so, Maria will be the second deputy chief minister who's having a very tough time in Lakhisarai.
Yes, absolutely. But Preeti, a word on Renu Devi. Rajdeep, BJP has had a woman leader in Renu Devi who comes from the backward classes, but she was not really given that place of pride. She could have been that counterweight for the Mahila voters, which always come in the name of Nitish Kumar. Do you think BJP is not investing enough in the Mahila faces that they have in their kitty?
More than Mahila, Maria, my sense is that the BJP has been unable to do in Bihar what it did in UP in terms of organically building up an OBC leadership. आप किसी को ठोप नहीं सकते leader. Leaders have to come through the ranks, and the entire party and the existing hierarchies have to accept them. I recall in the 1990s when Kalyan Singh emerged as the #1 Neta of the BJP in UP, there was a lot of disquiet among the upper castes. You will recall how they eventually, some of them even rebelled against him, and he was virtually pushed out of the BJP. Now, the BJP has, to its credit, attempted to mandalize itself in Bihar. But for that, you need some kind of acceptance right down the line. That hasn't happened, which is why just appointing a Renu Devi as a deputy chief minister is not enough. You're going to have to accept the leadership of these individuals. That hasn't happened, and that's why Nitish and Lalu have an edge. They are regional leaders who've come through the salt of the earth of Bihar, the brothers Bihari, as my late friend Sankarshan Thakur called them in a book, and therefore they have an advantage over any leader who is brought in from above. None of the BJP leaders from the OBC communities have come from before. You're mentioning Samrat Choudhary. What's his past? He's someone who's been in the past in the RJD, has switched sides then to the JDU, and has also come into the BJP. How does he become a natural BJP leader?
Superb point, Rajdeep. Just stay on with us as we bring in Amitabh Tiwari, founder Vote Vibe. We've also reflected his data, giving a clear edge to NDA, but not a very comfortable sweep to the NDA. Welcome, Amitabh Tiwari. What we've also done is with the data, Maria, that Amitabh has given us, and Rajdeep, you know, those 12 seats that we talk of, and let's put that in context where those 12 seats which are going on a friendly fight for the Mahagathbandhan. In context, juxtapose it with the entire margin of vote of victory. The last time around was less than 10,000 votes. You have 12 seats that the MGB Mahagathbandhan is fighting itself on. If it comes down to the wire, the MGB could possibly be kicking itself if you actually look at what is being projected, Maria, where these 12 seats are concerned.
I'm going to actually take that on the big wall here, because these contests, are they weakening Mahagathbandhan's campaign and could perhaps swing close seats to the NDA? Let's look at these friendly fights that we are looking at, 12 seats in all. Which way are they going? Take a look at Vaishali. Both parties have strong candidates. In fact, RJD has fielded a Kushwaha versus a Congress nominee. Analysts are giving, in fact, it's Amitabh Tiwari who's projecting that it is RJD which is ahead. We are looking at Kahalgaon, again, an interesting seat. This is a historic Congress bastion, and here there is a direct clash between Congress party's Praveen Singh Kushwaha versus RJD's Rajneesh Bharti, and NDA is likely to gain here because the vote is getting split. When we are looking at other seats, look at this, Bachwara. This is a Congress versus CPI battle here. This is playing out. It's a high-stakes battle because here CPI's Avadhesh Rai versus Congress Shiv Prakash Garib Das. This seat in 2020 had a razor-thin margin of just 484 votes, so less than 500, and hence it is looking like a 50-50 contest. Bihar Sharif is witnessing a Congress versus CPI fight, which is likely to benefit NDA. So in all, if we were to look at it, it is appearing not too good news for the other side. Although when I had asked that specific question to Tejashwi Yadav about this friendly fight, he said that could be a part of the strategy, something that the India parties did in the neighboring state of Jharkhand.
Strategy, because the RJD versus VIP, the fresh data that's just come in.
So this RJD versus VIP, we are looking at Gora Boram in Darbhanga. Initially there was a clash, but VIP withdrew its candidate in Santosh Sahni to support RJD leader Afzal Ali Khan after pressure for the unity. And then you have Kaimur seat, which is Chainpur in Kaimur. A major flashpoint here because the VIP wanted the seat, but RJD refused to concede, and hence you're seeing this contest. So it's not really a strategy. If it is going to be a contest similar to 2020, in which the vote gap between the winner and the party number two, which is the Mahagathbandhan and the NDA, was just 12,486 votes, then this is where the battle for Bihar will be settled. Preeti.
Amitabh Tiwari, let's bring you in on the data, that you've projected on these 12 seats, because it practically mirrors also what Pradeep Gupta said yesterday, that these are not friendly fights, these are suicidal fights. If it comes down to the wire, which is, one scenario that it could, these 12 seats will do the Mahagathbandhan in.
Yeah, so technically the Mahagathbandhan is contesting only on 228 seats because 12 are friendly fights and 3 candidates' nominations have been rejected, whereas the NDA, only 1 candidate has been rejected. So it's largely 228 versus 242. Now, I think Rajdeep would also recollect Krishna Alavaru was there on his program, and he had also mentioned that this is a strategy. Some of it is friendly fights and some of it is strategic contest. So largely we are saying that at the max, the Mahagathbandhan can win 3 out of these 12, even if we give Bachwara, which is a battleground seat, to the Mahagathbandhan. So essentially, if this is a strategy that you are trying to put the core vote block of the NDA caste candidate in either of the 2 parties, then you should have put all these candidates on all the 243 seats. Correct? Let's say an upper caste candidate from NDA, a Yadav candidate from Mahagathbandhan, and an upper caste from Congress. I mean, this is very theoretical sort of a strategy that an upper caste candidate, if you field from a Mahagathbandhan, will damage or neutralize the potential of the NDA candidate. So I think, yes, you are right. If the contest turns out to be very close, then these 12 seats could prove to be very, very costly for the NDA, for the Mahagathbandhan going forward.
Rajdeep, what do you make of it? Because I was, Maria, Bihar Sharif Bachwada, 2 seats which would have gone in a whisker to the Mahagathbandhan. If there is a contest today and the Mahagathbandhan might be losing out, it is only the Mahagathbandhan to blame. These were traditional seats which would have been taken in a jiffy by the Mahagathbandhan. Rajdeep, suicidal strategy, you would think?
Yes, in any friendly fight is only on paper. There is nothing like friendly fight in politics, particularly in a state like Bihar. In Bihar, once you're a candidate, you go into the election with all the fight that you can summon up. I think it shows the limitations today of the Congress in terms of its bargaining power. There was a time when the Congress could dictate terms, much like the BJP does today. It's not in a position to do that. I recall when Lalu was in charge, he was an extremely hard bargainer. It was very, very difficult to get a seat out of a Lalu Prasad in Bihar or a Mulayam Singh in Uttar Pradesh. I think the mistake the Congress made is that there was 40-day window, both the Congress and the RJD made, between the SIR exercise and the announcement of the election should have been used to settle seat sharing disputes. Some element of give and take is required. The Congress has done it successfully to some extent in states like Kerala. Now, why can't you do it in Bihar? Because here you've got a dominating regional party which is not going to concede. You've got left with its pockets of influence. You see, the problem is the Congress has no core base vote. In Bihar, and this is what Prashant Kishore also is suffering from, you need a base vote. Yadav Muslim vote, upper caste vote, Dalit vote, as Chirag Paswan has among his own Paswan community. Congress has no base vote. When you come to the dialogue table with no base vote, then how do you negotiate hard? That's been the problem, and therefore as a last minute, you decided on a friendly fight. In my view, this is, you're absolutely right, going to be possibly an Achilles heel for the Mahagathbandhan and shows the limitations, particularly today, in the Congress party in its ability to dialogue and negotiate with allies.
Does it also mean then, Sajjan Kumar, come in, that it's about a problem of the next generation? Perhaps Sonia Gandhi and Lalu Yadav had better equation and they understood the strengths of each other in the state and at the center. Lalu Yadav obviously did not negotiate or bargain in the Lok Sabha as much as he did in the state assemblies. That's where the issue is. It's about the problem of the next generation where Tejashwi and Rahul Gandhi may be seen together riding a bike, but when it comes to brass tacks about seat sharing, that's where they leave it to their other party players, and then the problem begins.
Look, politics cannot be always about, politics of spectacles, politics of thrill. So when it came to spectacular politics like sending an image, signifying some big moment, then you find Rahul Gandhi, Tejaswi, they all come and join hands. But politics overwhelmingly is also about mundane everydayness, about doing the boring job that the likes of Lalu Prasad Yadav, Sonia Gandhi, the likes of Modi, Amit Shah, they are known to do behind the curtain, So this next generation is more about thrill in the sense that they need some big spectacle to announce to come to the fore, and that limits their accessibility to the rank and file. And in Bihar, it was quite known that Alavaru and Tejaswi were not getting well until the last moment. Right. The meeting between the two leaders, one-to-one, was not happening because you need some sort of personal chemistry to resolve this issue. That could have been the case. On the NDA side, you saw that Dharmendra Pradhan is coming, Amit Shah is coming. Right. From other side,
you're right there. Sajjan Kumar, the optics lay with the NDA at least in this, but I want to bring in Amitabh as well back into this conversation. Amitabh is also on a clock. Vote Vibe, where he's launched with his data, has to continually go into other channels. So Amitabh, bringing you in very quickly before we also bring in Javed. I want you to take a moment to reflect on what you found on ground. A lot has been made that there was a lot of friction between the MGB components. RJD was not getting along with the Congress. The Congress was not getting along with the left parties. There was a lot of friction on ground, and I saw that in Bachwada and in Bihar Sharif, where practically the cadre would come out and say कि जूता चप्पल चल रहा है. But having said that, was the vote transfer, Amitabh Tiwari, seamless where it came down to the JDU and the LJP? Because a lot of JDU cadre also seem to suggest we'll pay back LJP in the same coin of 2020.
If you see the weak link in NDA kitty is largely the NJP, HUM and the RLM. They are contesting on 40 seats, but 30 of those contests are against the RJD. And on, I think, 19 of those seats, there are RJD sitting MLAs. So what is happening is also that there, I mean, whatever projections we have made or we've seen across other exit polls, if you ask what are the big risk factors to that projection, one of them will be the risk of seamless vote transfer between JDU and BJP also, and JDU and LJP. Because JDU and LJP suffer from a traditional deficit because of this Mahadalit and Dalit category creation, or the Mahadalit category creation by Nitish Kumar, which led to halving of the, almost half of the vote share of LJP. And then you have this JDU versus BJP in a sense that JDU not being announced as the CM face, Nitish Kumar. This also may impact some of the vote transfer between JDU and the BJP at the ground level. Also, the Muslim community, which is supporting JDU in some seats, largely because of the Mahila Rozgar Yojana, that same level of enthusiasm is not seen amongst the Muslim Yadav women when it comes to candidates being fielded from the BJP. So I think these are the risks, potential risks to any
Amitabh,
projection
you know,
tomorrow, which
this
we'll have to wait
was
and
being
see.
discussed in political circles in Patna. It was also being seen among reporters like us who traveled on ground, that there is that fear among EBCs also that what if Nitish Kumar is not made the chief minister after the victory, in case if the NDA forms the government. Do you think that can also be one of the reasons why this is appearing to be a close contest?
See, essentially, I think the BJP and the JDU top leadership at least have tried to manage it well, because the top two have not declared Nitish clearly as the CM face, largely to keep the one-third BJP supporters who do not want Nitish as CM happy in their camp, because there is an threat from the Jan Swaraj party. But what is also happening is that the JDU leadership never openly challenged this. In fact, the JDU leadership agreed to the fact that okay, नीतीश के नेतृत्व में चुनाव लड़ा जा रहा है और नीतीश ही सीएम रहेंगे. So this is the message which they have tried to convey to the voters and cadres and supporters. So how effectively this works, we will have to wait and see
Remains
tomorrow.
to be seen. Rajdeep, would you want to take a question from Amitabh before we let him go?
You know, interestingly, Amitabh, when Pradeep Gupta came, he said that the only potential X factor to his poll findings was, have they underpolled or overpolled Prashant Kishore? If they have overpolled him, then the NDA could sweep. If they have underpolled him, it could be tighter. And he was not clear whether the higher voter turnout included a high youth population. What's your sense? Is there anything, any straw of hope for the Mahagathbandhan? Any scenario? What could go wrong with these exit polls? Or is it NDA 130 or else above 160?
Yeah, so I think two factors I already mentioned. One is the risk of seamless transfer between JDU BJP and JDU LJP largely. The second is the extent of alpha which pollsters like us are assuming or we are getting in respect of the male lead for the NDA, rather the female lead for the NDA, which is 10% in our case and even I think 5% in case of Access My India. So if this female lead is lesser, then it poses risks. And the third, of course, is the vote share of Jan Swaraj, which is currently at 5% in our projections. So if this increases, then what happens is that the close contest seats, which are 83 in number in 2020, where the margins was less than 5%, and both Mahagathbandhan and NDA won 37 and 38 each, these could then turn to be decisive. So it all depends on largely these three factors.
All right, Amitabh Tiwari, thank you for giving us your time. Okay, yes, go ahead, Rajdeep. Sorry, go, make your point. Stay with us, Amitabh, don't go anywhere.
Not to Amitabh. No, I just want to emphasize the point. Amitabh said, he's looking at 80 plus seats where there are close contests. I think we have to even further hone it down to about 52 seats, which were less than 5,000. And in a state where you had that kind of a contest, you would think that 2025 also may be tricky to predict. But I keep repeating, 2020 was against the backdrop of COVID. And I think that changed that election to a large extent in Bihar. It brought a new factor of sense of disaffection, even anger among those who had lost their near and dear ones or had suddenly been uprooted from their lives because of COVID. That doesn't exist this time. So in that sense, this could be a more normal Bihar election where caste identities assert themselves far more strongly.
All right, you know what you said, Rajdeep, and you're right, because we were talking about friendly fight. Let's just take a moment and once again turn to our election intelligence dashboard, where it comes down to where it came down to the wire. Less than 500 votes. NDA, there were 7 seats out of 243 where the winning margin was less than 500. And Bachwada, where a friendly fight is taking place right now for the Mahagathbandhan, was one of them. 5 went to the NDA. The Mahagathbandhan won just 2. Less than 1,006, which will of course include the ones that were less than 500, were won by the NDA, the MGB 4, and an independent won 1, and that independent was actually the seat of Bachwada. So 11 seats were won where less than 1,000 vote was concerned, and I think that's a huge, huge number. And if we actually go into less than 3,000, then in total 35 seats where the winning margin was actually less than 3,000 votes. I want to give the final word, Maria. That's all the time that we have for now. But Rajdeep, Javed, who's covered many, many elections in Bihar. Javed, what's your final takeaway before we get into counting tomorrow?
Well, I'd be very surprised if NDA doesn't make it. But I don't think it'll be the kind of runaway victory most pollsters have been predicting. And the Mahagathbandhan has nobody but itself to blame. Its inability to sew up alliances is almost suicidal. I earlier said in one of Rajdeep's programs that it was poor political management, but I'm changing my view now. It could well turn out to be suicidal.
Okay, we have Rohit joining us from Patna. And interestingly, I've just few minutes ago, Rohit, I've got some posters which have been put out on the streets of Patna. And one such poster says, "Tiger abhi zinda hai," with the image of Nitish Kumar. You know, talk about political messaging, and that's what you see the best in Patna.
Tejashwi saying he's taking vote on the 18th.
Yes, and Tejashwi has said that, and Tiger abhi zinda hai for Nitish Kumar. So what's happening, Rohit? Are the parties celebrating already? And what about Nitish Kumar? Where is he? At one Arne Marg?
Well, absolutely. Whether it's laddus, gulab jamuns, it's being prepared at BJP office, JD office, RJD office. It's the same situation everywhere. So it seems that everyone is happy that they are going to win. So let's wait for tomorrow. But as far as Nitish Kumar's and the Tiger Zinda Hai poster is concerned, obviously it's a psychological war that is going on between the NDA and Mahagathbandhan, and both sides trying to send out a message that yes, they are coming back to power. And this is what is exactly happening when you put a poster like Tiger Zinda Hai and JD putting up posters, "Ek din aur, kal aayegi NDA sarkar." So these are the kind, and on the other hand, you have RJD also, which claims that Tejashwi Yadav will be swearing in on 18th of November. So it's the pressure and psychological war between both sides that is being witnessed right now. But only few hours left, about 12 to 14 hours left, before which we'll come to know that which side is winning, which side is on the losing side.
And we'll know whether it's going to be a long day or a very quick day. Rajdeep, who is the OG, like Maria pointed out, when it comes to elections and reportage.
What does OG mean?
Word. Original. How do you not know, Rajdeep?
What does OG mean?
Original.
I don't know. I'm not Gen Z or Gen original. Okay. Well, no. Look, there have been lots of. I want to say this. I learned a lot about elections from the great Dr. Prannoy Roy, who was the original cephalogist. So let's make him OG.
Okay.
But beyond that, my sense is that elections in India always throw one surprise. I don't know what the surprise will be tomorrow. Could it be a landslide for the NDA, or could it be Kaate ki takkar?
Will there be a constant, Rajdeep, with you?
Has always thrown.
Will there be, you've given the variables, but will there be a constant with you taking to the dance floor? अब वो तो बनता है राजदीप.
No, no, I'm not dance. नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं बनता है. मेरी बेटी की शादी हो गई है. मैं अब बूढ़ा हो गया हूँ. कोई सवाल ही नहीं उठता है अब डांसिंग का. जितनी भी डांसिंग करनी है मैं मेरी बेटी की शादी में करूंगा. लेकिन ये देखिए कि I'll say this, 2015 you recall, at 9:30 in the morning there were channels who were celebrating a BJP victory.
That's
and
right.
in the end, what happened? There was a Lalu Nitish sweep. In 2020, most of the exit pollsters said Tejashwi Yadav is winning, including our friend Pradeep Gupta. What happened? The NDA came through, and there's a lot of suspicion what happened post 4 p.m. in that election.
Right.
That for another day, someone needs to investigate. Now in 2025, all the polls directionally are saying NDA win. But ये बिहार है, और बिहार में जब बाहर आती है, who knows which direction it goes. From the ancient times, Bihar has always been known to surprise, and I have no doubt that tomorrow you will see 1 or 2 surprises. Having said that, I still think that the MY, Mahila and Yuva will decide the fate of Bihar.
And it's about Tiger Abhi Zinda hai. You can actually say that about yourself as well.
He says it also.
अरे मेरे दोस्त मारिया, ये डायलॉग मेरे दोस्त सलमान खान की कोई पिक्चर थी, टाइगर, where he was tiger. We are all self-styled tigers. When I'm at home, I'm a pussycat. My wife runs the show. When I'm in the studio, I try and remain a tiger, but tiger अभी थोड़ा बूढ़ा हो गया है, लेकिन अभी भी जिंदा है.
Stereotypical चीजें once again. Okay.
No, but you know, this is similar to the stereotype which is associated with Bihar. That every food is about litti chokha. It's not that Biharis wake up in the morning and start having litti chokha.
Well, all I'll tell you is I love the Thekua. Rajdeep, your election, I love Thekua. I came at the time of Chhat. You give us your food, which was the best thing you've eaten. My vote goes to Thekua.
अरे यार I am a confirmed non-vegetarian, which explains the state of my health. आप जाके एक अच्छा चंपारण मटन खाइए. This time I had onja mutton, which I think is made in a pot, but it was excellent. And I had a nice, tomorrow I'm told that a Maithili thali is being prepared for all of us.
Okay.
So whoever wins, I can promise you, you will not be left with an empty stomach, and we will give you lots of trivia, factoids, and all the things that really make election coverage. Tomorrow, बहुत मजा आने वाला, and there's a contest. I want to tell you, every hour, this is a reminder to our viewers, every hour we will put a question. Whoever answers the question is going to get a LED TV. So there is plenty to look out for. कौन बनेगा करोड़पति छोड़ो, कौन बनेगा TV पत्नी is what we are going to show tomorrow.
All right. We look forward to that as all our viewers. And you all know, there's only one place that you need to tune into, and you can see it on your television screen. Those 4 faces will deliver cutting-edge data analytics, the news which comes in, verified, fact-checked, and the sharpest, quickest leads in election. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. Rajdeep, Gaurav, Maria, and I will see you in the studio tomorrow, 6 a.m. Join us there.